Anthony Melchiori has it on the tee. Ready to kick it away for Kent State. Over 90,000 here for the home opener last week. Another great crowd in Baton Rouge. And we're underway in Death Valley. Melchiori puts it a yard deep into the end zone. Beckham's going to bring it out. And he stopped short of the 15. Good coverage by the Golden Flashes. And here comes Mettenberger. First 2 weeks with Cam Cameron have been spectacular. LSU single game record 5 touchdown passes last week against UAB.
16 completions in both of his starts so far this season. The difference, though, more than anything else, is the confidence you see in Zach Mettenberger in pushing the football down the field, getting it to his playmakers on the outside, and Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham Jr., both of whom have stepped up in a significant way as receivers.
And Jeremy Hill will start this game. He made his 2013 debut last week. Les Miles lifting the team suspension. He had a 3-yard touchdown on his first carry of the season. First play for the Tigers, and it's a pitch back to Jeremy Hill. No operating room, and down he goes. This offensive line doesn't have a senior up front for the first time in quite a while, but they've been impressed with the Tigers in this unit.
Yeah, very talented, but Coach Miles has talked about it. They need more reps. They need to play together more. That's how you develop the chemistry to be able to run the football the way LSU wants to. We've touched on the passing game, but there's some new faces and new places for them up front that they need to get some chemistry started.
Offset eye on 2nd and 9. And it'll be Hill again this time. Stopped short of the 20. It's going to be a gain of 4 for Jeremy Hill as the Leo defensive end Nate Vance brings him down for Kent State.
You know, Clay, a season ago when we've seen a 3rd and medium like what we're looking at here, LSU might be compelled to run the football still and play defense, but you see the numbers. They're throwing the football more, they're completing it more on 3rd down, and they're converting it more on 3rd down. A lot of that owing to Zach Mettenberger and his passing capability this season.
9th in the nation on 3rd down so far through 2 games. And they'll try to throw here, and they convert. There's Beckham. Tumbles out across the 35.
And we've seen LSU employ with a bunch formation. That time they motioned one of the receivers wide. Odell Beckham, though, you see underneath the coverage, does an excellent job getting his eyes around to his quarterback and showing him his hands, giving him a place to deliver the football.
Gain of 17 for Odell Beckham. 3 touchdown catches last week. Play fake on 1st down, rolling out to his right is Mettenberger, gets it to J.C. Copeland, the fullback. Luke Wallet makes the catch, or makes the tackle, I should say, after the catch, and it's a gain of 6.
Okay, we're going to see some big running backs in this ballgame. Trayon Durham for Kent State, and J.C. Copeland, who's basically a guard that lines up in the offensive backfield, except he's got great hands, he's an athlete, and he's a strong finisher to the runs. You see there, 6'1", he stacks a lot of weight on a short frame.
And now 2nd and 4 on LSU's opening series. They're at the 42. First down for Hill, and look out. Touchdown, Jeremy Hill. A 58-yard run. That didn't take long.
Jeremy Hill, amongst a crew of very talented tailbacks, really emerged last season towards the back end and asserted himself as probably the top running back option. If you're going to turn around and hand the football off, you can't really go wrong at LSU. They're very talented and very deep. But Jeremy Hill is probably the most dangerous all-around back that they have on their roster this season.
And now Colby Delahousie, the walk-on, was yet to miss a kick this year. Field goal or PAT. Makes it 7-0. Jeremy Hill An LSU freshman record last year with 12 rushing touchdowns, 10 in the last 7 games. Has 2 in his first 2 games of 2013. 7-0 Tigers. After beating a very good TCU team impressively in week 1, blew out UAB last week, and a great start here tonight for Les Miles' team.
It was a good start. They were able to get the running game, another big run out of the running game, something that LSU was able to get done versus TCU. Don't want to score too quickly. You never want to turn down a score, and at the same time, you want to possess that football, get some of these drives established that they haven't had to have so far in the past 2 ball games.
James Hairston had 8 touchbacks last week, a career high, and he's got his first of the night.
In the touchdown run, you take a look at the 2 inside linebackers, and LSU's done a good job at center and at fullback. Elliott Porter climbs up, Connor Neighbors gets a hat. Jeremy Hill doesn't get touched, running down the middle of Kent State's defense. Good job, not only by their lead blocker and Connor Neighbors, but also Elliott Porter showing some of his athleticism, working with Vidal Alexander. It's those combination blocks. That's the type of thing that they need to get underway and do a better job of. That was a good demonstration of it.
Here's Colin Reardon, redshirt freshman, won a contested quarterback battle in camp over the senior David Fisher. And Dree Archer will start this game in the slot. Pass complete to Tyshawn Good. And it's a 6-yard reception. Looks like there's a penalty marker down. Our referee tonight, Hubert Owens.
Offside, defense, 5 yards, still first down.
We didn't think we'd see Dree Archer this early.
There's Anthony Johnson, quite an athlete, and a big one at that, but just a little bit early. But a guy that we were wondering if we would see early in this ball game was Dree Archer. Again, lined up in the slot.
It's going to be an incomplete pass, knocked down. Ego Ferguson, the big defensive tackle, got a paw on it. First year starting on the inside, and so far he's been impressive. Big number 9.
And Dree Archer, they spent a lot of time at Kent State trying to find ways to get him as incorporated into their offensive game plan as they possibly could. And then he gets injured in the first ball game. They're without his services versus Bowling Green a week ago. It's got to be a welcome sight for offensive coordinator Brian Wright to know that they've got his services available here tonight.
Both Durham and Archer out there now. And it'll be Trayon Durham. But he's short of the first down, so 3rd down, about 3 coming up. It was Anthony Johnson making the tackle. It was a gain of 2, so 3rd down here for Kent State. Very good so far on the year, 48%.
You could see there that was an instance where you've got Trayon Durham and Dree Archer in the backfield at the same time, forcing the defense to pay attention to both of them. One of the few running back tandems in the country a year ago. But they were able to get it to a 3rd and manageable situation. Colin Reardon has done a good job so far, having won that quarterback battle.
Now Kent State calls a timeout. Paul Haynes, after 7 years at Ohio State and last year as Arkansas's defensive coordinator, he's back at his alma mater, wants a timeout. Our 3rd and 3 coming up with 11:13 to go here in the first quarter. We're going to take a timeout. LSU has jumped out to the early lead here in Baton Rouge. Out of their timeout. Now this defense for LSU, a little nicked up tonight. The strong safety Craig Lawson is out with a tweaked ankle. Tre'Davious White, a true freshman, starting at corner tonight. There's Micah Eugene getting the start for Lawson. And the chief, John Chavis, looks on from upstairs. Play fake. Rolling out Reardon. Looking downfield, in trouble and down. DJ Welter, the middle linebacker, tracked him down. A sack And 4th down.
You know, Clay, when they called the timeout, something that I thought we might anticipate, and we still very well may see, is a few option looks. They've run a zone read option with Reardon at the quarterback position. This time he runs the play fake. Roscoe able to get upfield, and DJ Welter, the Mike linebacker, a key component of this defense that has yet been decided as far as who is the go-to guy at that position, makes a tackle for a loss on 3rd.
That'll look good in film study next week. There's Odell Beckham at the 35. He'll dance across the 40 to the 43. 38-yard punt. John Chavis, now in his 5th year, one of the most respected assistant coaches in college football. For more on him, let's go down to Don.
Yeah, you know, this is a young LSU defense, but Chavis doesn't rebuild. He just reloads. He lost 3 defensive tackles to the NFL draft last year. One of those guys, LeVar Edwards with the Tennessee Titans, I spoke to him. He said the key to LSU's defense being good every year is simple. Their motto, tradition never graduates. He said it's something that starts, it's a mindset that starts before they even step on campus. It starts the minute they're recruited here, and he said the young guys come in knowing that they're the best defense in the country.
Thank you, Don. It's a loss of 2 for Jeremy Hill. And yeah, he's got some guys that are still figuring things out at their positions. And DJ Welter still trying to solidify himself as the starter at middle linebacker. But so far, for the most part, pretty good the first 2 weeks. Second and 12 here. Second series for LSU. Mettenberger 2 for 2 through the air so far. And he's complete again. Big play to Traven Durrell. Missed last year with a knee injury. They expect big things from this redshirt freshman.
And you could see there's the aggressive nature of this offense this season. First down, you get a tackle for loss. What do? Let's throw deep. Let's get it to Traven Durrell, a guy that they're expecting to be maybe the 3rd option behind Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry, and eventually maybe the preeminent receiving option at LSU.
36-yard reception to the 24-yard line of Kent State. Back to Hill again. Why not? Until Kent State can prove that they can tackle him, they're going to go to last year's leading rusher. Lee Jean's impact players. And the receiving game for LSU the first 2 weeks has been nothing short of spectacular.
You know, you see Traven Durrell makes the big catch just a moment ago, but it's been Jarvis and Landry and Odell Beckham that have shown up prominently in the passing game. Well, there you saw briefly Roosevelt Nix. He's an all-star defensive tackle for Kent State.
Hill again. Battles his way inside the 10 and then a late flag. Danny Gress, middle linebacker, made the tackle, along with Nate Terhune.
Holding. Offense number 55. About 10 yards for the previous spot. Still first down.
It's going to be on their center, Elliott Porter, first-year starter for LSU, originally enrolled at Kentucky, but transferred before the 2011 season. He's called for the hold.
You see Roosevelt Nix, number 5. They had a great penetration. I think it might have resulted in the hold. You saw him get upfield so quickly. There's number 5. Really undersized to be playing inside. They're really in just about any conference. You're looking at him. They got him at 265. He might be 250 soaking wet. Now that's Nate Terhune. He's another guy. Brian George, the defensive coordinator for Kent State. Somewhat unique in that he's also the defensive line coach. We touched on it in the open. Roosevelt Nix, a very active player. Nate Terhune was a guy that Coach George pointed out. He's a darn good football player for them. They're going to need big things out of him tonight. If he's out, Roosevelt Nix is going to draw even more attention. He's going to have to step up his game even more.
Brian George, 3rd year as the defensive coordinator for Kent State. There he is in the sunglasses. On the staff the past 2 seasons as the D-line coach. Was a co-defensive coordinator at Indiana under Terry Hepner at one time.
See Paul Haynes there, defensive coordinator, Arkansas. On meetings with him yesterday, he mentioned he sticks his nose in. He does make contributions to their defensive calls.
I'd imagine it'd be hard for him not to. He's been a D coordinator most of his life, too.
He's familiar with this conference, familiar with this team here at LSU.
1st and 20. Mettenberger overshot Travis Dixon. Dixon well covered. It's been a quiet start for Dixon here in 2013. Missed the opener with a knee injury, and Mettenberger missed him there. First incompletion for Zach.
Part of the reason is Jeremy Hill misassigned in his pickup. That time it was Zach Hitchens coming the second level. He's able to just weave his way in there, get a hand in Mettenberger's face, was unable to deliver the ball on time.
Penalty took him outside of the red zone. He's scored on all 9 opportunities, though, this year inside the red zone. Pressured. Mettenberger got rid of it. Beckham bumping and touching inside the end zone. Coverage from Malcolm Pinnell, the corner. Great pressure by Keenan Stalls, the free safety. Mettenberger avoided a sack and maybe a potential fumble.
And this is something that Zach Mettenberger struggled with early last season, and we've seen moments TCU was able to get to him as well from the weak side and from his eye side to the right side, where he doesn't feel that pressure very well. Was able to get the ball off in that instance.
Touchdown, Landry. Just when you think that guy has run out of spectacular catches, he does something like this. He stole that reception.
He's just such a physical football player. Jarvis Landry is a contributor on special teams early in his career, continues to run down in coverage units. He's got huge hands, and he's not scared to go up and fight for his quarterback to come down with a reception. And there in traffic, extending his route. In that instance, Odell Beckham Jr. was in the area as well and recognized Landry had the opportunity to come down with the touchdown catch.
14-0 LSU. Jarvis Landry, 2 touchdowns last week. And this one was sheer will. What a great competitor, Jarvis Landry. And it's 14-0 LSU.
It's over. It is all over in College Station. It was a 2-touchdown game with 20 seconds to go. Johnny Manziel, his 5th touchdown pass of the day. This one to Malcolm Kennedy, made it a 7-point game, but Alabama would recover the onside kick. Alabama takes it, guys.
All right, man, thank you. So Alabama gets revenge, even though Johnny Football has another big day. Now, both Texas A&M and Alabama will play LSU coming off byes this year. You see Alabama will take on LSU November 9th. Again, the Tide will be coming off an off week.
Well, that's pretty ideal scheduling if you're the Crimson Tide, having survived their first really big test. They had the season opener, and then they immediately go back to work with their bye week in preparation for the Aggies, able to get a victory, but a narrow one.
James Hairston will skip it into the end zone. Ernest Calhoun, all 5'6", 150 of him, brings it out and gets hammered short of the 20-yard line. Well, Nick Saban, who is breathing a sigh of relief about now, played his college football at Kent State back in the early 70s. A star defensive back for the Golden Flashes. And won a national title here with the LSU Tigers in 2003.
Really returned the LSU program to prominence. And Les Miles has taken it to the next level, having won that one national championship.
Trayon Durham stacked up. Short gain as Tre'Davious White makes the tackle. Some real Midwest connections as far as SEC coaches now.
You look at it, and a lot of people will talk about Miami, Ohio's the cradle of coaches. Kent State ain't far when you look at these coaches from that area, from the Midwest, 3 of them from Ohio, Butch Jones and Mark Stoops, 2 new head coaches here in the SEC.
Kent State with its second down and 9 now. Flags coming in.
False start. Offense, number 55. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
If you're just tuning over the Alabama-Texas A&M game, LSU scored on its opening drive. 5 plays, 86 yards, and 241. Jeremy Hill taking it in from 58 yards out. And then on drive number 2, 6 plays, 57 yards in well under 3 minutes. Jarvis Landry, a great catch in the end zone from 21 out from Zach Mettenberg. Colin Reardon, the quarterback for Kent State, keeps. It's going to be close to a first down. It's out close to the 30-yard line. The weak side linebacker, Lamine Barrow, makes the tackle. It is a first down after the 15-yard pickup. Lee Jean's impact players.
You know, Colin Reardon, we just saw him. Obviously, Dree Archer, we've touched on him as well. But what we spoke about with offensive coordinator Brian Rock is if Dree Archer cannot factor in prominently in this offense, it's going to be Colin Reardon's show. And they tested the middle of the defense there.
Nobody home. Penalty flag again. Tim Urjevic, the tight end, the closest receiver. Here's Hubert Owens.
Personal foul. Chop block. Offense, number 67. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Big 15-yard penalty against Terrell Johnson, the left tackle.
Well, you see that. Sometimes you don't even recognize that your teammate is still engaged with the adjacent defensive lineman. Linebackers, when we were talking impact players, you got DJ Welter and Lamar Lewis there. And the reason for that is DJ Welter, excellent in communicating the defensive alignment, but he's not as physically gifted as Lamar Lewis, who is still growing into that role.
Well, I think LSU might have been offside. Yep. Pass incomplete.
Offside. Defense, number 58. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Taj Jones was trying to blitz off the edge, and he couldn't hold on.
Just trying to time it up. A flurry of penalties here. 3 of the last 4 plays. A line judge, he warmed up his rotator cuff. You see Taj Jones there getting a talking to from Coach Miles. Just hold your water, time it up.
On first down draw play, Trayon Durham. And he is bottled up. No gain. The free safety, Ronald Martin, making the tackle. And Ronald Martin is one of the guys that John Chavis told us this week, Stitch, that really has to start stepping up.
Yeah, you know, he's out there on the football field. Craig Loston being nicked up, probably contributing to that. But Ronald Martin kind of on notice in that defensive backfield. Visiting with John Chavis, it doesn't matter to him if you're a young guy. He feels as if sometimes these young guys, they deserve to play. It doesn't matter if they don't have that much experience. They might be ready to contribute.
Reardon got rid of it short, but the receiver was pummeled. That's Chris Humphrey. Takes a loss of 1 as Tre'Davious White, first collegiate start tonight, makes the tackle.
It's 2 tackles for Tre'Davious White now as a forced player on the edge. And the very first play of the game, Kent State comes after him. And you see him there. He comes out of his bail, is able to come up, make the tackle right at the line of scrimmage. Good heads-up play, young player. Another one of those young players that John Chavis has at his disposal. Not scared to put him out there on the field.
Freshman from Shreveport, related to Mo Claiborne. He's a star here at LSU. Now Reardon going to be dumped inside the 5. Ego Ferguson.
Ego Ferguson on the play before narrowly missed a tackle for loss. And on this one again, they were trying to set up a screen, but you see him right here in the middle of the defense. Watch him get upfield. That's a big man. He's just beating the protection. Not real sure. Kent State looked like it had a three-man slide. He just knocks the hands down and gets upfield. Nobody there to take care of the big three technique.
The other defensive tackle, Anthony Johnson, has been double-teamed a lot so far early in the season. That's freed up Ego Ferguson to do things like that.
Well, and the better Ego Ferguson plays is going to free up Anthony Johnson as this season unwinds.
Melchiori is the kicker and the punter. Odell Beckham Jr. A short return, but great field position for LSU. They are going to have it inside the 40-yard line of Kent State when we come back. It's another Saturday night in Baton Rouge and You're watching the SEC on ESPN. 14-0 Tigers. They've got it in Kent State territory again. Jarvis Landry with a touchdown catch. He's got 14 catches this season already, 47 in the last 8+ games. And many of them have been spectacular catches. How about the one-handed grab against Arkansas last year? I mean, he even makes routine catches look amazing.
Well, you know, a routine catch for Jarvis Landry is an uncatchable ball for most. And then here today in traffic, you know, amongst two defenders, he's just a strong guy. If the ball's in the air, it's like his mentality is, I own it. If I'm in the area, that's my reception.
Jeremy Hill right up the middle. Zach Mettenberger going to his playmakers, Beckham and Landry. They have caught all of the touchdown passes from Mettenberger this year. As they go back to Jeremy Hill, just a 1-yard pickup that time. First time since 2006 that both of the top two receivers from the previous season return for LSU. Beckham and Landry are best friends, and they have become really good friends with Zach Mettenberger, and you can see that chemistry manifesting itself on the field.
I'll tell you what, I mean, we got receivers that make catches like that, and a quarterback that can deliver it. If you don't have chemistry, I don't know what it takes.
Here we go, third down again. They like to throw on third down all of a sudden. Why not? But Odell Beckham can't come up with it. Penalty flag. Might be pass interference on Darius Polk.
Pass interference. Defense, number 11. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And it is.
I got Jeremy Hill earlier on blitz pickup. That time does a good job coming across and picking up the blitz. You see just a little bit early, Darius Polk reaching out. Looks like he missed Odell Beckham's hand, really. You know, maybe he was there a little bit early, had never got around, not required in college.
Odell Beckham being attended to on the sideline, may have injured a finger trying to catch that football in the end zone. So first down, Hill bangs his way inside the 15-yard line. We talked about Beckham's hands last week, and again this week. They're such valuable tools for the star receiver, and right now one of those hands being looked at.
I wonder if he didn't jam it or if it's dislocated a little bit when he came down. He took the glove off right away. I think what they're doing, see that? I mean, I think what they're doing is relocated. They reduce the dislocation. It doesn't feel good, but it feels fine once it's back.
Hill, touchdown. His second of the game. This one from 12 yards out. Tigers capitalize on the great field position.
Well, once again, reminiscent of his earlier touchdown run, this time for fewer yards. Didn't have as much grass to cover. But again, the middle of the Kent State defense, LSU, several inside zone runs. This offensive line working in concert with one another, able to find and generate some creases in the run game. And Jeremy Hill demonstrating, well, he's got good vision. I don't know how good your vision has to be to see some of these holes open up in the middle of your offensive front.
Delahousie tacks on the extra point. It's 21-0. Jeremy Hill had a tough offseason.
key there is ring finger. They have put his glove on over it. They've taped it up. So he's going to be good to go. And then on the other sideline, Kent State, Nate Terhune, you guys talked about them needing him to be able to stop this LSU team. Well, he will not be back. They worked on that right ankle. He headed into the locker room on crutches.
Nate Terhune, the sophomore nose guard for Kent State. Good news for the Tigers. Odell Beckham, it appears, will return. James Hairston. Another touchback. That's his second tonight. Well, let's go back to that play in the end zone that resulted in an injured ring finger on the left hand for Odell Beckham Jr.
Yeah, you see the ball underthrown, and it bounces right off the end of his fingertips. And that's where it usually, you get these dislocated fingers, that's what happens. It's jammed. You're playing catch with your buddies out front. You just don't get your hands open. We saw Odell Beckham's hands, those fingers, it probably takes 2 or 3 seconds to unravel those things, and he just didn't start early enough there. It looks like he's more than okay. I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't get back in the lineup.
That game he had last week, that is not going to be forgotten very soon around these parts. As the catch is made by Dree Archer, a good running back, also the team's leading receiver a year ago for Kent State. It's a gain of 6, second down and 4 coming up.
Again, Tre'Davious White in on the tackle. You see Dree Archer banged up coming into this ball game. You see Tre'Davious White, the newcomer to this secondary, a freshman. Kent State's tried his side on a couple of different occasions. You see Archer on the sideline now. Hasn't touched the ball very often in this ball game. 1 touch.
Penalty flags.
Before the snap, false start, offense, 5 yards, second down.
So now 2nd and 8 for Kent State. And this defense for LSU, Matt, sees Kent State's offense every day in practice because it's basically LSU's offense.
Yeah, a lot of times you'll see them, they'll line up in the pro set, 2 backs in the backfield, a tight end. LSU's multiple, as is Kent State. But they're not like an up-tempo team. This is something that they see quite often.
Abysmal offensively so far for the Golden Flashes. Durham looking for daylight. We'll get 3 back. Lockitcher and Roscoe combine on the tackle. And Christian Lockitcher, another true freshman, getting a lot of playing time for John Chavis. Reminds people of former LSU D tackle Kyle Williams, who's now playing with the Bills.
Speaks pretty highly. That's a physical defensive lineman when you mentioned Kyle Williams. Well, there you see Quan Alexander. There's so much depth at LSU. They can roll linebackers in. The linebackers are kind of slightly built, but they cover a lot of range, and their defensive front is an active one, but a physical one. They're not like they're just jetting gaps.
Wide open. Complete to Josh Boyle. And with Archer still not at 100%, they're going to count on guys like Josh Boyle more in the game plan tonight. He gets 25 yards here to the 45 of LSU.
You know, when we were talking with, you see at the bottom of the screen here, offensive coordinator Brian Rock was talking about a couple of rub routes, and you see there, it just gets confusing. Quan Alexander outside in the slot, and Jalen Mills, they just get crossed up. Mills stays with his man. Quan Alexander flinches. And Josh Boyle running free down the sideline.
Sprinting out is Reardon. He's going to keep it. And he'll dive down to the 41. Ronald Martin containing it. Reardon, good numbers the first 2 weeks. Mostly through the air, but he can also run too. We'll see if that's going to be the last play. The first quarter of Kent State will get off one more. 227 total offensive yards. 4th in the MAC so far. That's going to do it for the first 15 minutes. 21 points put up by LSU in the first quarter. And Kent State hasn't been able to get on track offensively.
Well, Jeremy Hill has certainly found some room to run, though, in this ball game. LSU doing a good job up until this drive, but right now it's been almost all Tigers.
Was really upset with that Gamecocks defense against Georgia last week. It's fun to watch him get upset, I gotta be honest.
He's almost always upset, it seems like, and every once in a while he might, smirk after a touchdown pass. But as successful as he's been, national championship, countless SEC championships, takes a lot to impress the old ball coach.
Connor Shaw off to a good start tonight. Away from center, Colin Reardon puts it in the breadbasket of Trayon Durham. Just not a lot of real estate up the middle against this LSU defense. And how about Johnny Manziel's performance? Even though it's a Texas A&M loss, this guy's still very much going to be in the Heisman conversation this week.
Yeah, he almost has to. Building on last season's performance. Look at some of the other candidates, most of them at the quarterback position. But this is against a defense that is rebuilt in Alabama. They lose key contributors year in and year out, and yet the expectation is for them to be a great defense. 464 passing yards. That's hard to imagine. 279 of those yards going to one guy, Mike Evans. That's a scary proposition to think you got two sophomores that are that dangerous in the passing game.
Lamine Barrow, the weak side linebacker for LSU, one of the leaders of this team, is down. Will check shaken up on this last play.
You see him right here from his linebacking position. He fills the hole versus Trayon Durham. Both of them lowering their heads, leading with the crown of the helmet. You saw Lamine Barrow getting his neck worked on.
High snap, Reardon able to recover. Gets it downfield, and it's a first down to Tyshawn Good. That is the second third down conversion on this drive for Kent State.
You see Barrow there on the sideline again. How he got to the third down. You see both of them, two physical football players. You see his teammates recognize. There's a reason why Lamine Barrow wears the number 18, which is very meaningful. There's a high significance of that high character guy, a leader on this football team.
That number's been passed down every year since 2003. Reardon complete again. Josh Boyle first down inside the 20 and knocked out of bounds by Martin after a 14-yard gain. Kent State moving deep now into LSU territory.
Well, Lamine Barrow that time was replaced by Deion Jones. You see Deion Jones in pursuit there, number 45. Oliver Martin able to come up and make the tackle. But after that big reception to Josh Boyle off of the rub route that Coach Rock talked about that they needed to get to confuse the coverage and breathe a little bit of life into this Golden Flash offense.
Play fake, Reardon. Slant route, caught. Humphrey lost the football. Did Tyshawn Good recover it? Yes, he did. Kent State holds on. Great play by Humphrey, but nearly turned it over.
You see that there, right there, a great scoring opportunity, and somehow or other the ball ends up on the ground. See again, Ronald Martin, those angles like that and open field tackling that has his job somewhat in jeopardy. A very tenuous grasp that he holds at that safety position is because of plays like that.
Ninth play of the drive on first and goal. Reardon keeps it. Wins the race. Touchdown, Kent State.
Colin Reardon, Dree Archer has not figured prominently in the game. You see Deion Jones there in the game because of the injury to Lamine Barrow. And Colin Reardon, as the coaches mentioned, he's going to have to fill the void that's created without Archer's contributions. And you see the mobility at the quarterback position. Deion Jones is sucked inside just enough on the play action fake to the inside, and the quarterback ends up keeping it.
Anthony Melchiori comes on for the extra point, and it's 21-7. So Kent State's offense finally does something against the Tigers. They're on the board, but Zach Mettenberger in this offense will get it back when we come back. career progression of Zach Mettenberger. He started at Georgia, ran into some trouble there, then went to Butler Community College in Kansas. Found his way to Baton Rouge, and now the Louisianans have adopted him as one of their own. And he has looked good so far this season, leading the Tigers offense, which is set to get the ball back here momentarily. 21-7 Tigers.
Certainly earned his stripes this season, really towards the back end of the season last year. Saved the Clemson game, and really his finest effort versus Alabama. But this year really building on the successes that he had in 2012.
Beckham let it bounce, and now he'll take it in. So Kent State goes on a 9-play, 75-yard scoring drive. Now we'll see how the Tigers answer back. This is Zach Mettenberger tonight. 4 for 6, 80 yards and a touchdown pass.
Well, this punt touchdown pass here was something that Cam Cameron mentioned to us in our meetings. Just stand in there if the protection is there and let your receivers work their way open. Jarvis Landry on his touchdown catch was one of those. Big physical receiver. Even when he's covered, he still has a chance to come down with a big catch.
Play fake, throws on first down. Dumps it off to Connor Neighbors, the fullback. Look at this guy go. Tripped up at the 25 by Darius Polk. 5'11", 239, but very nimble on his feet for 50 yards.
The big men can dance too. You see Connor Neighbors at the fullback position, see him bluff off the edge and then get wide. This just plays off nicely with what LSU wants to do in their run game. It feels like a run with those running backs coming downhill.
Another play fake. Mettenberger all day to throw. Gets it to Beckham inside the 15, down to the 11. Those play fakes do look sharper tonight from Mettenberger, and Cam Cameron said he needs to see more improvement from Zach in that regard.
Not just the play fakes, but his feet are so quiet. As you see Cam Cameron there in the middle of your screen, he talked about eliminating all the choppiness in the routes, and the choppiness and the jitteriness at the quarterback position. You saw there Zach Mettenberger set his feet and waited for Beckham to come open.
Kenny Hilliard in the game for the first time. And might get one. Kenny Hilliard led the team with 11 carries for 54 yards and a touchdown last week. They're so deep at the tailback spot.
You see there, Roosevelt Nix was able to get penetration. LSU was looking to run a power play, something they do very well. Vidal Alexander is pulling from his left guard position. You see there Nix, mention how undersized he is. He plays bigger than his stature and gets great penetration upfield.
Hilliard bulls his way inside the 5-yard line. 6 foot, 233 pounds. Hilliard also very hard to bring down. He gets 7 here.
Well, that time they ran right at where Roosevelt Nix was lined up. Kenny Hilliard, almost like a fullback. Watch Nix take on the double team of Gerald Hawkins. Trey Turner releases early, and it was just enough to watch the excellent defensive tackle for Kent State down and provide a crease for Kenny Hilliard.
Number 99. Jonah Austin comes in as a tight end. This is the jumbo look. And it's Hilliard going to be close to that first down. Looks like he's about a yard short. So it'll bring up 4th down and 1. See what Les Miles decides to do. The offense is going to stay out there, and they're going to go for it.
No hesitation. They knew that they were going to go for it.
Hilliard, but penalty flags down.
False start on the offense. All 11 players never got set prior to the snap. 5 yards, still 4th down.
You know, while we were thinking, do they go for it, do they not? You could tell LSU, I don't know if they had 2 plays called prior to the previous attempt, but they lined up quickly. And what got them there is that, yeah, they were lined up quickly, but they never got set. It might have been Austin, the defensive lineman by trade. He lines up as a tight end in these goal line scenarios in that elephant package, their jumbo package.
So Colby Delahoussaye, who has not missed a field goal attempt this year, he's 3 for 3, comes on from a 25-yard distance out of the hold of Seth Frugier, and he's still perfect. So Kent State keeps LSU out of the end zone for the first time, but still the Tigers get points. And it's 24-7 on a beautiful night here in the Mississippi. This will be the A&M Bama game from today. How far does Texas A&M drop in the polls, Matt, after this loss?
Well, that's the thing that all the voters, you know, the AP at least, is going to have to weigh. You look at the final score. They're kicking an onside kick. Right when you thought Alabama was going to run away with that ball game, it really never did get out of hand. I mean, you felt as if Alabama was controlling the game, but when Yeldon fumbled heading in to make it a 21-point lead, you know, A&M answers right back. You know, it wasn't like it wasn't a hotly contested ball game. You know, that said, you think there has to be some more upward mobility with undefeated teams.
James Hairston scoots it along the ground, gobbled up at the 5 by Darius Polk. And he is under an avalanche of LSU kick coverage players. Stopped at the 20. So where would you put Texas A&M? Do they drop out of your top 10?
Yeah, I think they do. I mean, you look at South Carolina, they lose to a Georgia team that now resides back in the top 10 after 1 week being out, losing to Clemson. And South Carolina drops to 13. I don't know that Texas A&M doesn't replace South Carolina at that 13 spot.
Trayon Durham gets 6 yards on first down. You saw moments ago Dree Archer over there on the sideline with his helmet off. We did not see him at all on Kent State's last series. He is the most dynamic player for the Golden Flashes, the best chance for Kent State to come back and make a game of this for Kent State, and that's not a good sign.
You know, no helmet on his head, and I don't know that he's got a helmet in his hands. With Paul Haynes, he recognizes they want to win the MAC, and the LSU does not play in the Mid-American Conference.
It's Anthony Murray on this carry, going to be close to a first down. It'll be 3rd and short if he didn't get it, and it looks like he did not. Yeah, the MAC has been very competitive in recent years. They sent 7 teams to bowl games a year ago. And this Kent State team was 1 win away from playing in the Orange Bowl. They lost to Northern Illinois in 2 overtimes in the MAC title game. Otherwise, they're playing in the Orange Bowl.
Yeah, and you look at them, you know, they dropped games to Kentucky when Max Smith was hot early in the season. There's a 3rd down. See if they don't slam it up in there and try to pick up the first with Durham.
Now they did try, but Durham is snuffed out. Jamarie Roscoe, the defensive end. Team's leading tackler through 2 weeks. Comes up big there. It's going to be 4th and a yard.
You see playing heavy. They're pulling over. You see Reno Rado trying to get some type of crease for Trayon Durham. See Rita there. Penetration, though, right away by Roscoe. You see number 59 crawling up. He's 3 or 4 yards into the offensive backfield.
3rd punt for Anthony Melchiori. It's going to be good field position again for LSU. Maybe. No. Backing off is Traven Doral inside the 10. What a kick by Melchiori. And Doral can't get back to the 15-yard line. A 61-yard punt by Melchiori. There's a flag down. Flag down at the 31-yard line.
During the return, an illegal block on the back on the receiving team. Number 32, that penalty is half the distance from the end of the run. First down.
See number 32 right here. It's Jalen Collins. You got to keep your head in front. Just barely. Get your head around the front. Otherwise, backing up your offense after a booming kick by Melchiori.
Let's look at our SEC greats brought to you by Regions Bank. Josh Reed, one of LSU's best receivers in program history, All-American, Biletnikoff winner back in 2001. LSU record, over 3,000 yards receiving in his career. Regions Bank SEC Greats Tour, September 21st in Gainesville. There's Kenny Hilliard on first down. He'll get 3. So if he's one of the great receivers in LSU history, I'll tell you what, Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry, they're making their way onto that list.
Well, you know, week 1, it was the first time since LSU had Josh Reed and Michael Clayton at receiver that they had 2 receivers go for over 100 receiving yards versus Texas Christian. But since then, they've done nothing but build on it.
4 possessions, 4 scores for LSU, but a long field for the Tigers to the outside. Caught at the 25. There is Beckham. And he gets to the 30-yard line before he's run out of bounds by Pinnell. That's a 20-yard pickup and a first down for LSU.
Well, that's just showing Zach Mettenberger's got tremendous arm strength. He's throwing from the opposite hash. Odell Beckham on an out route. That ball's traveling about 50 yards in the air.
There's another flag. This one's going to come back. Late flag. We didn't see it. It was on the other side of the field. It comes back against LSU.
I think they got J.C. Copeland there. So I like the call was on number 44. While we were marveling at Zach Mettenberger's arm strength, the officials were trying to sort out the penalty on the play. Negates. That would have been first down yardage.
You could see Les Miles, you could read his lips. He still doesn't know what the penalty was for sure. Mettenberger from the end zone gets it to Beckham again. And he's near the spot that he had the last catch. It's a 22-yard pickup, and it's a first down anyway.
Didn't we just do that? I mean, I'm pretty sure we just saw this happen right here. It's the same route. Cam Cameron, look, he's not scared to go right back to something that works. I'll throw it until you stop it. I'll run it until you stop it. You see there's Zach Mettenberger, regardless of the penalty. They picked up the first down yards on a previous pass. Let's go right back to it, challenging it. And again, Odell Beckham coming up with a catch.
On first down, Mettenberger after the play fake rolls back to his left, throwing deep downfield for Beckham. Knocked down at the last moment by Pinnell. Again, taking a shot downfield. Cam Cameron has brought an aggressive nature to this passing offense.
Well, first down. First down, let's take a shot downfield. If it's an incomplete pass, we can survive. We can still convert these third downs. We touched on how well LSU has done in third down conversions, converting about 20% more this year, and the lion's share of those conversions coming from passes from Zach Mettenberger.
Beckham goes out, Landry's in. And he'll get it. Great move after the catch, first down and more. What an athlete. Jarvis Landry picks up 15. Jordan Italiano, the star linebacker, makes the tackle.
Nice block by Kadron Boone. There's a guy who doesn't have many catches on the year, just one entering in this ball game. But LSU's got physical receivers. You'll see Boone here does an excellent job of shielding Malcolm Pinnell. And Landry just, all you got to do is make one guy miss. You see Luke Wallett trying to come up and make the tackle. Landry doing a good job after the catch.
Pitch it back to Jeremy Hill. He'll cut it up for about 4. Danny Gress, the middle linebacker, makes the tackle. They replaced a lot of productivity on this Kent State defense. They're young at linebacker. Gress, one of the rare exceptions, a 5th-year senior, but so far LSU seeing very little resistance from this Kent State defense.
Well, we've seen a couple tackles for loss, penetration on the previous possession in the red zone. Otherwise, LSU doing a good job executing offensively in the run of the pass.
On second down, Hill, first down. Bounces to the outside and tripped up at the 37 of Kent State. Farrington on the tackle. Let's go down to Don.
Hey guys, Kent State's Dree Archer putting very little weight on that injured ankle, sitting on the sideline now. He has his helmet in his hands. His return pretty questionable. Probably not going to be back in this one.
Breakout season for Dree Archer last year, helped him win 11 games. And see it on his face. He's disappointed. Might be done for the night. Jeremy Hill already over 100 yards rushing as they go back to the air. And it's Beckham again, adjusting to make that catch. It's another 20-yard completion.
Same pattern. Max protection. You got two tight ends. You see Paul Haynes so frustrated. He coaches the defensive backs. You see working on Dylan Farrington. Farrington's bailed out. Odell Beckham is coming out of his break on an out route. That's 3 receptions in a row.
Flags down. Hill cuts it back. Makes his way to the end zone. We'll see if it stands up. If it does, it's a 16-yard touchdown run for Jeremy Hill. And that would be his 3rd score.
Personal foul. Chop block. Offense, number 55. 15 yards from the previous spot. First down.
It will not hold up as Elliott Porter, the center, is called for the penalty.
It's the second chop block call we've seen in this ballgame. It's not something you see called very much. You know, sometimes with option offenses, there's a lot of cut blocks. It's a congested area. See, Elliott Porter is right here in the center of your screen at the center position. A lot of bodies, as you'll see there. Yeah, he goes low. He's trying to cut right away. And Trey Turner is still up high on Christopher, it looked like.
That was his 7th penalty tonight against LSU. So now 1st and a ton. Mettenberger. Slant route. Landry. Gone. Touchdown. Man, they make that look easy.
It's twice now where LSU gets a big gain. In this instance, a touchdown brought back due to penalty. They come right back to the passing game. Zach Mettenberger, Jarvis Landry, and Odell Beckham are dangerous. They're dangerous on the outside, but Jarvis Landry, you line him up in the slot, as physical as he is, you get him over the middle of the field. You see their good vision, run after the catch. He doesn't have to be in the end zone to end up in the end zone. As talented as they are as wide receiver, and again, you see these two guys, number 3 and number 80, showing up big in the passing game.
31-7 LSU. Jarvis Landry. A couple of touchdown grabs last week. He's got 2 already tonight. Zach Mettenberger now. 10 for 13, 232 through the air and 2 scores. All LSU. Nevada, a couple touchdown passes today. Brent Hundley in a win, and Marcus Mariota, you just saw him.
Well, Jameis Winston, I wonder, those 3 incompletions, did they actually touch the ground? Because coming into that ball game, he had 2 incomplete passes, but both of them were caught just out of bounds. He's had an unbelievable campaign so far.
LSU has just scored on its 5th scoring drive. 8-play, 93 yards. Landry, the touchdown catch. It's another touchback. Kent State will start at the 25. Join our panel of experts for loose, laid-back football talk. College Football Daily at 1 on ESPNU. Also live on Watch ESPN. We'll be talking Bama, Texas A&M, Texas Ole Miss will be part of the conversation. Big win for the #1 team in the country today in a hostile environment in College Station.
They got off to a slow start in that one as well. Alabama had to climb out of an early hole.
Colin Reardon, the quarterback, gets it in the hands of Casey Pierce, the junior tight end. He's caught a touchdown pass in each of the first 2 weeks. It's 8 here. 2nd down and short.
You know, a guy that looks a lot like Markevius Mingo to me, the standout defensive end, is Daniil Hunter, number 94. He's a natural, instinctive player. Long, look at him, linear guy. 6'6", 240.
They say he's got a 7-foot wingspan.
It looks like it.
Like a 747 coming off the edge. Durham trying to pick up the 1st down. It's going to be close. Daniil Hunter, another great defensive end. really high on here at LSU makes the tackle. They're going to move the chains.
When you watch Daniil Hunter, a guy that's 240 pounds, you see him here in his stance. Barely has to bend over those 7-foot wingspan arms. Look at physical at the point of attack, though. Shedding the blocker, falling back inside to try to deny the first down yardage. Not just a pass rusher. When you see him on passing downs, he is instinctive.
As you jump, they get back on side. Durham the carry. It's a gain of 5. What's coming up the half? Let's find out from Matt.
Yeah, Clay, coming up at half, Alabama survives a record day from Johnny Manziel and Texas A&M. We'll take you around the SEC and also show you the world of college football and update some scores for you. We'll see you at half. Clay.
All right. Thanks, Matt. We'll see you in 2:40. Yeah, Texas A&M, they're still in the hunt for a national title, even with that loss today.
Yeah, and it's an uphill climb for sure. A lot would have to happen in that West division.
And there is Durham. He's going to get a hard-earned 1 yard. But it's not out of the realm of the possibility we've seen for the last couple of years.
No, absolutely. I mean, look, the West Division, you could argue, toughest division in football. And you've got LSU, a Texas A&M team, narrowly losing to Alabama this year, having been the only team to beat them a year ago. You know, the idea that you couldn't build a strong enough resume just playing your West Division opponents in the Southeastern Conference, it's kind of hard to wrap your head around. You would have to take 2 undefeateds from one of the major conferences, I think, to deny a one-loss A&M.
Murray. Boy, LSU is ready for that. Big Anthony Johnson. Sack gets him down for a loss of 1. Anthony Johnson dropped 40 pounds over the last couple of years, and he is still near 300 pounds, but lightning quick. We saw it there. And an LSU timeout. We met with Anthony Johnson yesterday, and what an impressive guy.
You know, a guy that, you could tell is a leader in the locker room. You mentioned he dropped weight. You see that brace on his left elbow? That's a knee brace on a normal human being. But a guy as big as Anthony Johnson is sticking on his elbow. Look at those pipes. And not only that, he said, look, I got too big. I was 320 pounds as a freshman. I took a couple of double teams and got bounced out of there, and I thought, never again. You can see that quickness and the hustle that number 90 demonstrates. He knows he's going to get double teamed. On this play here, you'll see him as an interior defensive tackle. He's going to face a double team, holds the point well, splits it, and gets a tackle for loss. That's not an easy thing to do. I don't care who you're lining up against. That's the reason why they call this guy Freak. That's like his name. You see him walking through the halls. We heard it yesterday. It's not Anthony. It's not Johnson. It's not number 90. It's just Freak. Hey, what's up, Freak? Well, it's plays like that that makes that a suitable name.
It's hard to tell there because his helmet's up. He's got an impressive beard, too, one of the best we've seen this year. And he compensates for his lack of hair on top.
5 yards. 4th down.
And that's going to be a penalty against Kent State. It's going to be another penalty against the Golden Flashes as they're ready to punt here. He's been bald since he's been 16 years old. So he says, you know what, if I can't grow it on top, I'm going to grow it on my face.
I'll get some hair somewhere.
4th punt for Melchiori tonight. Doral back. Ball comes out, and Kent State has it at the 20-yard line. They're trying Traven Doral back there on punt return, and coughs it up. Golden Flashes have it 1st down and 10 at the LSU 20.
You see Doral tracking the football. He knows the coverage is coming. He takes his eyes off of the ball right as it arrives. See Fabrice Pratt right there in the screen. And Doral, he was bracing to take a blow. He had not signaled for a fair catch. Costly turnover. So Zach Mettenberger, he was out on the numbers before he realized what had happened, that Kent State retained possession off the muff punt.
First time that Kent State has forced a turnover this year. And it's the first turnover of this game for either team. Play fake, Reardon rolling out. Sets to throw and does. Zips it into the hands of Casey Pierce. And he's got the 1st down, but a marker down too. With 1:19 to go before halftime.
It was a heavy play action. I'd be surprised if it's not an illegal man downfield.
ineligible receiver downfield.
Yep.
Number 88 on the offense. 5 yards. First down.
There's a man that made the catch.
It was a great play fake. You see there, number 88. The end man, it wasn't covered up. 88 being an eligible receiver. Wasn't covered up at the end of the line of scrimmage, I suppose. You got to have at least 7 up there.
Kent State 1-1, 0-1 in the MAC after the loss to East Division rival Bowling Green last week. They would love to get on the board and take advantage of their scoring position. Before halftime, Reardon just lunges ahead, no gain. So now second down, and the clock winding inside 45 seconds.
Zone read concept for Colin Reardon there, just trying to see if he could catch LSU crashing down on the dive fake. LSU stayed at home. Really, Reardon's only had minimal success running the football here tonight. Did a good job on a bootleg and one run up the middle. Otherwise, LSU's done a good job containing the quarterback in Dre Archer's absence.
Timeout, Kent State. Quest for the coach's trophy presented by Dr. Pepper and Les Miles. It's been a challenging week, as we talked about, with that Sports Illustrated report coming out this week. Allegations of improprieties during his time as head coach at Oklahoma State. But when we talked to him yesterday, it seems like he's been handling it pretty well.
You see it there, you know, look, he's just looking to coach this LSU football team. He's got a team this year that's got an opportunity to win the West Division, no question. Now, definitely the most difficult schedule in the West Division, having to play Georgia and Florida out of the East.
The allegations against Oklahoma State: money given to players, pay for play, no-show jobs given to the players, widespread academic misconduct, recreational drug use was let to happen, and hostesses luring recruits with sex. Now, we've also heard contradictory reports on all of this.
Yeah, I mean, there's an article by Brett McMurphy on ESPN.com kind of calling into question the credibility of most of these sources that are cited in the SI articles.
Reardon has completed his last 7, complete again to the 20 to Calhoun, but he paid for it. Quan Alexander lowering his shoulder. Third down.
See Quan Alexander, tremendous range. He's got speed like a defensive back, but can play in the box from his linebacker position. It was an excellent job. He fits the mold of what John Chavis seeks at that linebacker spot, especially passing downs.
This is Anthony Melchiori field goal range. They need the 10 for the first down. 28 seconds to go before half. Reardon to his right, toward the end zone, almost picked off by Alexander. Intended for Chris Humphrey. So now it's fourth down.
That's something that I thought we might see a little bit more of. You know, I mentioned Reardon previously had some success on a bootleg. But we talked with offensive coordinator Brian Rock, and he said you got to move the pocket against this LSU defense. What that does is it cuts the field in half for you defensively. You basically know whichever direction your quarterback is rolling, but that's where he's headed with the football. There, Quan Alexander, prime opportunity for a turnover in the end zone.
Melchiori from 37. And Kent State capitalizes on the Traven Durrell muff punt. Celebrating its 8th year sponsoring the Good Hands Field Goal Nets, Allstate makes contributions to participating universities' general scholarship funds for each field goal and extra point kick. To date, Allstate has contributed more than $3 million in scholarship money.
What if those hands on that field goal net were those modeled by Odell Beckham? That's like a 2-to-1 scale.
Well, they would have to have tape on one of those hands now. He injured his hand in the end zone earlier in this game, got him taped up, and we've seen him back in the action, and that's good news for LSU. They're going to need that guy throughout the balance of this season if they're going to try and win that SEC West.
Yeah, and you could see in this ball game, they've moved the football around, got the fullback involved, a couple of balls to Traven Durrell's direction, but You know, Odell Beckham he's the quintessential legacy LSU Tiger.
And his dad was a football player here. His mom, a great track star at LSU. Dad, Odell Sr., mom, Heather. There's the former Heather Van Norman, who went on to coach track at Tulane.
You know, we were visiting with Odell yesterday. He mentioned that his build is more reminiscent of his mom's, which, you know, hey, if you got a track star mom, that comes in handy at receiver. But you can see there his old man, Odell Beckham Sr. He's a football player. So does Odell Beckham Jr. And one heck of one. We saw him a week ago, rather, make a play that the NCAA stats don't even have a category for.
And this is going to be a touchback. Yeah, Odell Beckham Jr. returned a missed field goal 100 yards last week for a touchdown. So rare, the NCAA doesn't even have a statistic for something like that.
Yeah, to cook up a category to add in there, it's miscellaneous yardage. You know, the SID, the Sports Information Department here at LSU is saying, hey, wait a minute. Where's our guys' all-purpose yardage? You cheated them out of 100 yards. NCAA and their stats system that just about everybody uses, they said, look, we hadn't cooked up a category for this thing yet.
Now there's 17 seconds on the clock, but LSU's ready to go to the locker room here, leading by 3 touchdowns. Good first half for LSU. Couple of mistakes that lead to Kent State points, but all in all, a good first half for the Bayou Bengals.
You see Paul Haynes got his hands full. Dree Archer, if he's got his helmet in his hand, it's to take it to the locker room. He probably won't even bring it back out with him, and that's impacted this Kent State offense. Looked a little bit hobbled. Plenty to cheer for out of LSU. They've gotten some big runs on the ground, and this passing game seems to continue to trend upward with Zach Mettenberger and his primary targets in Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham Jr.
Mettenberger 10 of 13 for 232, a couple of touchdowns. 359 yards of total offense in the first half for LSU. Let's go down to Dawn.
Coach, guys, talking about Zach Mettenberger yet again picks up where he left off. How is he able to do this week after week?
Well, we execute the passing game. I mean, our guys can run routes. I think Cam's doing a great job calling it. You know, it's offensively moving the football.
You talk about executing the passing game. You had said coming in, you wanted to see more out of your run game. You got it right off the bat. Jeremy Hill goes 58 yards. Are you happy with what you see?
Yeah, we're running the ball like we should. You know, consistency is the issue, and you know, the back end of the half, all you got to do is fair catch that ball and get out of here, not give them an opportunity at a score.
All right, thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Yeah, they want to look sharp now because they open SEC play against Auburn next week. 31-10 at the half. Now we go to the studio for the SEC on ESPN from Baton Rouge. Clay Matvick, Matt Stinchcomb, Don Davenport here. 31-10 at the break. LSU continues to work on things before they start SEC play next week against Auburn. What more did we learn about this team through one half?
Well, you know, we just saw the longest drive that LSU has had since 2011, 93 yards. But it's a new look LSU offense in that 3 of those plays went for 20 or more yards, and they were in the passing game. You can really understand what's going on with what Cam Cameron's trying to establish here.
Here's our drive recap presented by Tire Rack.
Was that Mettenberger, you'll see it really was 3 different out routes, and he's throwing to a spot on the field. The ball's in the air before ball still in his hands, about to come out. Beckham just beginning his break. He ended up completely
Still second down.
Dak Prescott playing at quarterback for Mississippi State.
Well, Tyler Russell a year ago finally able to get Dan Mullen a victory over an SEC team other than Ole Miss, beating Auburn a year ago. Dak Prescott was kind of the change of pace guy, big physical runner at the quarterback position. And Nick Marshall at quarterback for Auburn seems to still be somewhat struggling operating that offense. Issues with turnovers in this game.
Delay of game. Offense number 10. 5 yards. Second down.
And that's the 10th penalty against Kent State. It's not going to make offensive coordinator Brian Rock happy, or the head coach Paul Haynes. On this LSU defense, just 3 full-time starters back from last year. Some younger guys getting opportunities tonight. This is complete at the 24-yard line. Calhoun. It's out across the 25 to the 27. The defensive ends that they lost from last year's team, 3 went on to the NFL, but guys off the corners, off the edge, I should say, up front, appear to be just as good.
Yeah, I mean, I asked Coach Chavis yesterday, these every down defensive ends, are these situational guys? How do you replace, 2 stalwarts like a Sam Montgomery and a special athlete in Barkevius Mingo, and LeVar Edwards, who gets drafted, I think, in the 4th round as a backup, just speaks to the talent. And he said, I feel like Roscoe, Allen, Daniil Hunter's a guy who's coming. He likes his defensive ends.
Tipped and deflected. It lands incomplete as we go down to Dawn on 4th down.
Yeah, you guys talked about LeVar Edwards. I had a chance to talk to him. He said it's this whole defensive culture that is cultivated here, and that all stems from Coach Chavis. The chief cultivates this, and they said that when the new guys come in, Coach Chavis cares about them just as much off the field as he does on the field. Because of that, all these young guys really trust him, and they listen to him right off the bat. So that's how he's able to make an impact with the younger guys right away.
All right, Don. There might be a shift underway. The last few years, the defense has carried this LSU team, but the offense has really been the story here in the early part of the season. 38-13, the number 8 LSU Tigers. Miles with a smile on his face. It's been a good night for the Bayou Bengals. The way LSU has played tonight, ready to go to 3-0 on the year. 12:27 to play here in the 4th quarter. Starters still out there on this offensive unit. Alfred Blue getting the handoff from Mettenberger, picks up 9. Earlier today, Akron, under former Auburn coach Terry Bowden, almost upset number 11 Michigan. Maybe should have.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you're on the 1-yard line. You got opportunities to score. You get stuffed, and you get pressured. They had a guy open in the end zone.
Yeah.
If it weren't for the pressure, Michigan, on the heels of a victory over Notre Dame, could have had maybe the biggest collapse that they've had maybe since Akron. I want to say, it's 1-11 a season ago.
Doesn't appear that there's going to be a MAC upset here either against a ranked team.